Okay, I got 7 o'clock. And we're going to have 3 public hearings tonight before our regular meeting. So the first public hearing is the Farmington Market Center rezoning, continued from October 11th, 2022. Ron, you want to bring us up to date on that?
Sure. The last public hearing session that we had at the end of September continued it to tonight. And I received tonight at 6:15 the Fisher traffic study and attachments. 5 pages of traffic analysis and a very colorful chart showing the distribution of trip generations. And then there's 3 attachments of the traffic distributions proposed by the 3 projects, Farmington Market Center, GLN, and G&A. And that'll be filed with the town clerk's office in the morning. We also intend to send this to Zach Starkey and others at the Region 4 office of the DOT. I have very quickly skimmed through it. There's a lot of detail in here that I'm not prepared to talk about tonight, but we do have a commitment from Fisher to have the traffic engineer, Tim Faulkner, who is the senior transportation manager for Fisher, committed to coming on the 22nd of November to discuss the findings of the report. And it is hoped that in the interim, the 3 parties involved, G&A, GLN, and FMC, excuse all the acronyms, will have had the opportunity to review the findings and conclusions of the Fisher study. I'd like to thank Fisher because they got involved in this almost ready to release something, and then they got some new additional information that caused further delay in restudying of the issue. So hopefully this will resolve the issues of what's involved here, and we can move forward with the public hearing and continuation on the public hearing for the rezone at the 22nd of November.
Yep. So just for the record, we're not going to have them at the public hearing at next meeting. It'll be the 2nd meeting in November.
Right. And just remind everybody that because of Election Day, the first meeting in November is going to be on Wednesday,
The 9th.
the 9th. Yep. So don't show up here Tuesday night thinking you're going to come to town board meeting. I know that.
It could be kind of busy in here. Anybody have any questions or comments on Farmington Market Center? Anybody online? Questions? Okay, and then we have a resolution later tonight to continue this public hearing to our 2nd meeting in November. The next public hearing is for our 2023 town budget.
Notice hereby given that the preliminary budget of the town of Farmington for the fiscal year 2023 has been completed and filed in the office of the town clerk at 1000 County Road 8, where it is available for inspection by any interested persons during all regular scheduled office hours. Further notice is given that the town board of the town of Farmington will meet and review said preliminary budget and hold a public hearing thereon at the Farmington Town Hall at 7:01 p.m. on the 25th of October 2022. At such hearing, any person may be heard in favor of or against the preliminary budget as compiled or for or against any items therein contained. Further, the following is a summary of the entire preliminary budget. Total appropriations, $23,154,959. Less estimated revenue of $15,011,469. Less fund balance / appropriated reserves, $4,796,548. Amount to be raised by tax, $3,346,942. Further notice is hereby given pursuant to section 108 of the town law. The following are the proposed yearly salaries of town officials of the town of Farmington. Supervisor, including budget officer, $71,800. The 4 councilmen, $6,026. Highway superintendent, which includes park superintendent, $89,751. Town clerk includes receiver of taxes and assessments, $67,216.62. And 2 town justices, each will be $25,867.74 by order of the town board.
Thank you. And that legal notice was published a few weeks ago. Also, we talked, our last meeting, October 17th is when I filed the preliminary budget. That's where those budget numbers came from in the legal notice. A little more detail in the budget. Most part-timers received a 2% raise, full-timers 4% or more for full-time employees. Insurance on our vehicles and buildings went up 8 to 9% this year. Our medical insurance, we just got that information yesterday. It jumps 11 to 13% increase, $928,661 for our employees. The Aetna retiree program only had a 5.5% increase, and that total dollar amount is $95,759. Of the $23 million budget that Michelle mentioned, the A fund is $9,405,000 and change. The highway fund is $3,677,627. The sewer fund, $4,550,646. The water fund, $4,439,038. And then the balance of that 23 million is the drainage, the lighting, and sidewalk districts, there are many lighting and sidewalk districts. This time, any questions on the town 2023 budget? It is on the website, has been there since October 7th. Because we just got the medical insurance costs, there might be some slight changes for the final budget. We don't intend to approve the 2023 budget tonight. We'll do that on our November 9th meeting. The second reason for that is November 1st, we have our joint annual town meeting with Canandaigua, Hopewell, and Farmington on the water side. So we'll be meeting here November 1st at 7 p.m., go over the water budget and approve that water budget. Then that becomes part of the town budget at our first meeting in November. Any questions on that? Anybody online with a question? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing on the 2023 town budget. And now we have the public hearings for fire and contracts for the Farmington and Manchester Fire Departments.
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of Farmington, Ontario County, New York, Farmington Town Hall in the town of Farmington on October 25th, 2022 at 7:02 p.m. for the purpose of determining whether it is in the public interest to enter the contracts with the Farmington Volunteer Fire Association and Manchester Fire Department for the purpose of providing fire protection to the Farmington Fire Protection District in said town of Farmington upon the following general terms. 1. The Farmington Volunteer Firemen's Association Incorporated shall furnish fire protection for the north, west, and southwesterly portions, and Manchester Fire Department shall furnish protection for the east and southeasterly portions of the Farmington Fire Protection District. 2. The Farmington Volunteer Fire Association shall receive therefore the sum of $637,928 during 2023, and Manchester Fire Department shall receive therefore the sum of $65,775 during 2023. 3. Said new contracts with Farmington and Manchester shall be a 1-year period and shall terminate on December 31st, 2023. This by resolution of the town board of the town of Farmington.
Thank you, Michelle. We do have represented here from the Farmington Fire Department, just for the public. We have Farmington, Manchester, and Shortsville Fire Departments. Manchester and Shortsville obviously support the eastern end of the town. Shortsville already signed off last year on their dollar amount, $17,106. So that's not part of the public hearing tonight. Anybody like to speak for or against fire contracts? Anybody online? I will say that, the Farmington Fire Department gets the largest share because they have the largest area they cover in the town of Farmington. We were looking at just under 600,000 support for them when they brought to our attention that the larger hose, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 inch, 5-inch hose, New York State changed the rules on that, and they're no longer good for 20 years. They're only good for 10 years. So we just said, hey, how much to replace all the 5-inch? And we gave them an extra 45,000 to get it done. And they, the smaller hoses, they can work out of their regular budget. So that was part of the increase for 2023 with the Farmington Fire Department. Any other questions? All right, I close that public hearing. At this time, call the meeting to order, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Larry, can you lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to declare Councilman Holtz necessarily absent tonight, and Mike, welcome after getting back from your trip of Italy. Yeah.
To be back.
Yeah, very nice. First thing is approval of minutes of October 11th.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any corrections, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Mike sustains. Privilege of the floor. We have Steve help the meetings tonight has requested to talk to us with the conversation of chickens in the residential area. Steve, welcome.
Thank you for the time tonight. My wife apologizes she couldn't be here, but I'm speaking for the both of us. About a year ago, she started investigating chickens in the backyard and went through a lot of investigation, and then I jumped in and started to investigate, what some of the requirements and things like that. I created a presentation that was sent to Marcy, and I believe everybody on the board has received it. There was just some highlights I'd like to go over this evening. Because at the beginning, I wasn't really hot on it, but I have really been sold now as I investigate it more. One of the concerns that I had was the space in my backyard was going to take up the entire backyard. And as it comes to fact, it's only about the size of a swing set when you look at the larger size swing sets. And then I thought about the noise. Am I going to have clucking going on all night? And the myth is that they're very loud, but in fact, they're quieter than the bullfrogs and the Greek geese that we have in our backyard. And they're much more quieter than my 16 grandkids when we have a family reunion. Are they messy? Well, they're not going to be any messier than the 3 dogs that I have that leave presents all over the yard for me. And the coop that we're looking at, which happens to be produced right here in Clifton Springs, it's a company called Carolina Coops. It has a very nice system so that there's no smell, and then the stuff that comes out of the coop can actually be composted in our garden. So it's really not messy at all. So I started looking around at some of the other towns in this area that have chickens, and there's a number of them. Canandaigua, Manchester, Shortsville, Farmington, East Bloomfield, Rochester, And if you go a little bit farther, even New York City. And so I started looking at some of their requirements, and you know, I don't mind taking some other people's work and you know, adding to it and massaging it and putting it towards our needs. And one of the towns that I felt had the best example of the process for people to get chickens was Farmington. They have a permitting process, and they also have a learning requirement that you have to take online courses to get a permit for chickens. They won't even look at your permit unless you show the course completion. So with all that in mind, the last thing that really sold me, and especially for my wife that has some health issues, the eggs that come from your backyard chickens are much more healthier for you. The chicken eggs that are sold in the store have soy, which is one thing that she tries to avoid in her diet. So as we look at the healthiness of the chicken eggs, we were sold on it. And so that really has become our main point, to eat more organically, avoid chemicals, and to be able to have eggs when we need them. Let's face it, sometimes there might be a supply chain issue that might cause you not to be able to get the eggs that you want in the store. So I'm here tonight to get your approval, discussion on backyard chickens, and hoping that we can go that way. Are there any questions that I can answer?
You plan on having any roosters?
No roosters. Of all the towns that I read about,
Usually deny.
roosters are a no-go. Yeah, absolutely.
So in not using soy, what food is fed to chickens?
There are some mixes that do not have soy that you can feed them. And they can be, I think even Country Max carries them, or Carolina Coop has it under their brand.
What are some of the town's requirements or regulations to get rid of the waste?
Well, there's a size requirement, depending on how much property you have. They'll limit you to so many chickens, and so many chickens will dictate the size coop that you have in your backyard. I mean, the coops that this company that we've investigated has goes down to 4 by 6 for 3 chickens. A 4 by 6 is, you know, my arm span. And then they go up as high as 12 by 16 if you're having to plan, you know, a dozen or more chickens. We're looking at 6. 6 chickens for us, I think, would be the ideal amount. We have 8 of our 16 grandchildren living in the neighborhood, and we feel that with 6 chickens, we probably can supply all 3 families with eggs very easily. Again, some of the requirements that Farmington has, besides taking the course, again, you have to have a permit. They have a short form environmental assessment form, which I'm not sure how applicable would be. Certainly you could review it and see if it was something that you'd wanted to use. And there's a couple other pieces of paperwork that they need, including a special use permit from the zoning board.
Are there any requirements with regard to any bacterial contamination, salmonella, E. coli, or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I mean, chickens are notorious for that.
Yes,
And the eggs are notorious for carrying it to people.
right.
Public have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Did you find any place where the location of the food next to the house?
Yes, most of the coops are required to be at least, I think, if I remember the number, 10 to 15 feet away from the house. So, and they need to be behind the house as opposed to the side of the house. So I think that's something that the town needs to look at. How far do you want it from the fence line? Now, we're on a very wide piece of land that's about an acre. Our backyard is wider than it is deep. But again, I have no problem putting it behind the house, between the patio and the back fence, which then goes into a easement for the highway board for the drainage pond behind us. So
Yes, most of the locations that the towns have, the coops go behind the house.
Yeah, any comments?
How do they regulate the chickens remaining on your property as opposed to wandering all over the neighborhood?
Oh, we're not free ranging. Absolutely not. With dogs, we're not going to free range. You have your coop set up where they lay and they go at night to stay, keep warm, especially in the winter time. And then you have a chicken run that's attached to the coop. And that's all part of the footprint of about a large swing set. So we don't plan to free range. We have enough geese in our yard that we don't need to put chickens out there too. So there's not going to be any roaming chickens. You're not going to find any in the front yard, in the street, in the neighbors' backyards. They're going to be confined to the coop, and they're very happy as long as they're kept busy with different things to do. They like to climb on logs. They like to climb and they like to walk across ladders and things like that. So if you can keep them engaged, they'll be happy in that chicken run.
And your attachments, so you're looking at 6 foot by 24 foot.
Yes.
Anybody online with any questions? No, anybody one more time here in the group?
How often do you clean it?
The
Recommended it?
material that Carolina Coop puts in requires cleaning, I believe, every 6 months. Again, and it's a compost that keeps the smell down. It composts the waste of the chicken, and they say I believe it's every 6 months. It's not weekly, it's not monthly. It goes a pretty good time. So we're not out there every month trying to clean it up. And again, it also keeps the smell down.
I know they can be quite smelly. especially
Right.
in Summer,
Chickens.
90-degree heat.
Right.
Chickens have an awful smell.
Okay, thanks for the presentation.
Okay.
And I think what we're gonna do is we'll refer it to our building department and the combination of the planning board and the zoning board, maybe get some feedback from them.
Great. Well, I appreciate that very much, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other privilege of the floor? Public concerns? Anybody online? Privilege of the floor, public concerns? Okay, reports of standing committee, Public Works.
Yep, Public Works met this morning right here in this room at 7:30. Got updates from the water and sewer and highway and parks. I'll start with water and sewer. The clay valve for the influence building has been installed. They just got some pressure settings to follow. We discussed some more on the bioscrew pilot program that was done. Waiting on some more of the results and stuff to come back on that. The low lift pump cooling fans still need to be replaced. And they are doing some research there on that. The Bell and Gossett pump is delivered and ready to be installed. And I believe that lockout and tagout equipment has come in so that they can work on that project. Replacement parts, we discussed the replacement parts for the UV system and they have been shipped. We also got quotes from Cook Iron for some more fall arrest equipment. We also discussed the switchgear for the generators that is going to be tested by Colosino Industries. The water main project on 332 and 96 is progressing well. Casing in the pipe is in, and pressure testing and disinfection will follow and should be done shortly, hopefully. Farmington began their replacement of the water line on Town Line Road and connection to 332. And then disinfection will follow after that and testing. Flow meters were reinstalled at the locations that are on the sheet that is online. You can look at that if you need to. PS 25, Dasco is mobilizing to start that today. Hopefully we can get that one rebuilt. DOH inspection report was received and we discussed that. Hook Road Water Main project, we had, there's some problems with the pressure testing, so the company's coming back to re-inspect that to see what we need to do there. Things were backfilled to prevent from freezing for the winter. Hopefully we can get everything resolved shortly on that. Let's see, a grading project at the treatment plant. We discussed that this morning in the survey and today on that project. We got one resolution on there. That's about it for water and sewer. Highway and parks, they have their normal ongoing maintenance on the equipment. The roadside mowing is completed finally. And they're out doing ditches as the farmers get their crops off. Cleaning ditches in Farmbrook and on Wiggert Road. Cleared areas for the welcome sign on 96 and 332. And they've been installing and getting ready for plow equipment. That's next, I guess. Parks is doing their ongoing maintenance on the buildings. They've been mowing parks and the trails. They've been doing a lot of painting and doing crosswalk painting. And they've also put infield mix on the ball field. And they've also been getting their plows ready as well. That's all I have. There's one resolution. If we need to talk about it, we can at the time.
Thanks, Ron. On operations,
Town operations met this morning. Ron already went through the Farmington Market Center traffic study. Fish Associates will be doing a survey work for the TAP project, phase 1. That's a sidewalk trail connection, bike lanes. And that'll enable us to have a preliminary design to be planned, to be prepared. And we'll have a meeting scheduled early next year to present to the public for input. Staff also reports that Ontario County Tourism continues its draft to report to the Board of Supervisors on short-term rentals. And with that, we'll be able to work on legislation for our town at the local level anyway. Site improvements are being made at the Delaware River site. The trees are now being planted. Solar panels are being installed. There was a change order on the berm design, which has been reviewed and approved. And as far as Region 4 State Department Transportation, no standing signs, nothing has been done about that at all, and nothing's been discussed. So that's now a year. About a
Well,
year.
let me clarify that. I talked with two individuals from
Today?
Region, who,
After the meeting?
no,
Okay.
end of last week, I talked to two individuals at DOT. And what happened was not only our signs that were requested, but all the signs that they needed to order for their new year didn't get ordered. So
That I heard, but I didn't
I'll-
want to bring it out.
ultimately, the guy no longer works there.
Right. I didn't want to bring that up, but that's what happened. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have. Dan will go over the building report when it's his turn.
All right, reports of other town officials, supervisor. Saturday was the trunk and treat over here, great weather. Huge amount of families come through for that. That evening at Beaver Creek Park, Kiwanis and the Farmington Chamber sponsored the pumpkin track over there. They had almost 400 pumpkins carved put along the trail route over there. The Key Club, students from Victor sold cider and cocoa and different types of pastries. And I just got an email today. Apparently the Kiwanis folks were tracking the number of kids that went down the trail. So they said at least 305 kids plus parents. So it was, a great turnout. And a lot of people, it's the first time that they visited the park. They didn't know it existed. So I'm sure the attendance will go up between now and next summer. I mentioned it once before, but I wanted to bring it up again. We do have the joint water meeting here, November 1st at 7 o'clock. That's with the Farmington Town Board, the Canandaigua Town Board, and the Hopewell Town Board. And we go over the 2023 water budget and approve that for the next year. Highway and Parks.
Not much more to add from what Ron had reported. I do have some numbers from the fall cleanup. We had a total of 349 residents use it, take advantage of it, 170 on Saturday, 179 on Friday. We had 98 people used for shredding. The electronics was about the least amount I've ever seen. They didn't even get a half a trailer load.
Wow.
So that is way down. So I guess we're getting all the electronics cleaned up.
And the county has one right after ours too.
Yeah.
Well, good. We got hit hard in the spring and a lot less this year.
Yep.
In the fall.
So that's about all I've got.
All right, thanks. Town clerk.
Oh, we're busy collecting water and sewer, and I officiated a wedding last week and one today.
And the person today was going to be deployed.
She
Shortly.
was, yeah. Mhm.
Water and sewer, Dave.
I'll just add a little bit to Ron's report. There are a couple of water lines that are getting ready to be put back in service. One of them is through working on Town Line Road. That one seems to be holding pressure. That'll be verified by our engineering firm tomorrow. And with disinfection and approval from the Department of Health, I'm hoping for that to be back. Well, it should be ready to be put in service by the end of next week. However, we still have to do the taps to the 4 existing properties. So we still have a little bit of work ahead of us. Second one that I didn't bring up this morning is I was out to Center Point in Canandaigua today. And they are going to attempt to fill the line in phase 3 and begin pressure testing and disinfection. That's all I have.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Well, yeah.
All right, thanks. Building and zoning, Dan.
We're working, the fire marshal's working diligently, getting all the list, of the last 2 years of the businesses, wrapped up on the fire inspections. So that we can start all over again in January. And, we're working on a bunch of code updates, so we'll start seeing those hopefully in November 10th.
Planning board. Adrian.
That's me. We didn't have a meeting last week. Last meeting. That meeting is next week, we have the powers, property report that we will go over, recommendation back to the town board. And then we're gonna start talking about the year report.
Ron, Director of Planning and Development.
Okay, the planning board will be getting a report for them to consider a recommendation back to the town board on the powers rezoning. Right now, it's about 5 pages long. And it will grow tomorrow with the department's input. Also starting with town operations, preparing the annual report to the town board for their organizational meeting in January on the implementation actions, what the status of those are that are called for in the comprehensive plan. Today, we attended the first webinar of 2 this week. This one was on electric vehicle charging stations. A couple of things that Dan and I took away from that meeting is that NYSERDA has different requirements for different levels of funding, whether it's a level 2 charger or level 3 charger. The thing that I want to just bring to your attention is if they get involved with funding any of these charging stations, they have to be accessible 24/7, which means you can't really put them in park, because if you have hours of park closure, then it's not gonna work. The other thing that is involved is that it's up to the local municipality to decide what the penalties will be for leaving a vehicle that's fully charged in a charging station after it's been charged. And that's something that, different communities charge different rates at. Friday is a webinar on Airbnbs and short-term rentals. I hope that we get the input from that as well as from the county. We do have a expiring letter of credit that we've notified the bank needs to be continued for a year, and we'll be following up on that. And then the other thing is the town operations report with the photographs of the trunking tree. Is that the? Or
The tree, there was the trucking,
trek?
Beaver Creek Park.
Nice pictures. I encourage everybody to visit the website and learn what's going on in this town.
Yeah, I gotta add a few more.
I'm sure I will.
No, I say I gotta add a few more to the website.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get them all up today. Town engineer is not here tonight. The assessor is not here. Nothing on recreation. And Tim, anything from the conservation board?
Yeah, the drum signs that were put in, we like them, thank the town and staff for putting them in. The open space index, we've been working on that since like June. We're in the final stages of information gathering, the Ontario County Concord system with the information that we provided along with some area pictures. And it's gonna make the job a lot easier because the last index inventory was 2013, and it's been a lot of changes since then. And there's some that are ongoing right now that we're sort of keeping an eye on, but I'm sure there's gonna be some in the future. We hope to get the information to the board maybe by the end of the year, or early 2023, depending on what we decide in our next meeting. The Adopt a Highway program, the chair, myself, and the clerk participated in the cleanup along Route 332 from County Road 41 to Canandaigua, Farmington Town Line Road. We picked up 5 bags. It was a lot less garbage that was left on the road compared to spring.
First time, yeah.
20 bags. And we want to thank East Howard for allowing us to park in their parking lot, and the town highway department providing equipment, garbage bags, and the pickup of the garbage bags. Our next scheduled operation there is probably sometime in spring 2023. And then our next meeting is the Monday after Thanksgiving, November 28th. That's it.
All right. Good report. Thank you.
Peter, I'd just like to add to that. I did talk with Greg Trost about the Adopt a Highway signs that have been ordered, okay, along with our no standing sign. And they will be coming, and recognizing Farmington as being the first community in the county to have a board involved with maintaining major highway pickup. So, thanks, Conservation Board, for doing a great job.
Yeah, very good. Tim, I wanted to mention, thanks for your assistant for getting the pumpkins out at Beaver Creek Park and then coming back and picking almost 400 pumpkins up with a bobcat that made it go a lot faster.
Toolcat. Worked
Toolcat.
really well for that.
Toolcat, yeah.
So take that bucket and just dump it right in the dumpster, save them. I should give a shout out to the Key Club. Those kids were great. Went right along, picked all pumpkins up and did a quick job.
They were all over the place.
They were good group of kids.
Yeah. We'll make sure we mention that. No. Communications are on file. Reports and minutes are on file. Resolutions. First resolution is to continue the public hearing for further deliberation on the Farmington Market Center incentive zoning, rezoning action to Tuesday evening, November 22nd, 22, and commencing at 7 PM Eastern Standard Time.
So second.
Motion and second. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Who's a resolution authorizing acceptance of easements from Marano Mark Equity Corporation that requires a roll call vote?
So moved. Second.
Supervisor Engelsby,
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Councilman Herring.
Aye.
Councilman Casale.
And those are easements for sewer, water, and sidewalk, Marano's property. Three is a resolution authorizing the last day of payment for all 2022 third quarter water and sewer services located within the Canandaigua Farmington Water and Sewer District and Victor Sewer District accounts for November 1st, 2022.
So second.
Motion second. And the reason for the November 1st date, and all the customers are notified, is that anything after the 2nd of November not paid will get rolled over to the county and end up on the town and county tax bill in January. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Four is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign the software license agreement and Schedule A from UniLink.
So moved.
Move my mic, second by Ron. UniLink is a new billing software for our water and sewer department. The upfront cost is 15,000, 50% at the beginning of the conversion and 50% towards the end of the conversion. And then there's a monthly fee depending on the amount of accounts that we have. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Five is a confirming resolution. Yes. For the town supervisor to electronically sign the subscription service contract forms from Verizon for the GPS units on town vehicles.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Verizon is just switching to a new system of GPS reval platform. It actually is 24 cents a month per vehicle less, and we have approximately 54 vehicles that have the GPS system in them. And so I figured that out, saves us about $26 a year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Six is a resolution accepting proposal for two door access controls, building 2 in McMahon Road, treatment plant office at a cost not to exceed $4,634.80.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seven is a resolution authorizing supervisor to sign a release of easement regarding property located at 155 Huckleberry Road. This requires a roll call vote.
So moved. Second.
Supervisor Engelsby,
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Councilman Herring.
Aye.
Councilman Casale.
Aye.
Aye. This is up where I live, and it goes back to the 70s on the original site plan for the development. It shows an easement going right through where the existing house is. We have no intention of having that easement, so this clears it up so they can sell the house. It happens, you know?
It happens.
Eight's a resolution authorizing department heads to place all orders for equipment listed in the 2023 preliminary budget and capital plans.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. As a reminder, you still need separate resolutions. Once you get the confirmation of the orders have been placed for your equipment. With the dollar amount and what account it's coming out of. All this is part of the 2023 budget. We have terrible lead times. We just had a truck F-350 canceled. They've been on order since last November. And they canceled it and said, hey, if you still want it, let us know, and we'll put you at the head of the line for 2023. So
Actually, it's three.
you still have three that haven't come in, right?
Canceled all three of them.
Did they really? Did they offer to put them at the head of the line?
They're, Van Bortle Ford is working on a new price,
Of course.
because it's gonna be more money for the 2023 model. And once we accept that, we can either accept it or not, then it will go to priority after that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll get it to us for our first meeting in November.
They're working on it.
All right.
I'll keep on them.
Thank you. I don't know, I don't think we passed that, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nine's a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a consultant agreement for professional services to be provided for the Farmington Sidewalk Trail Connection Phase 1, project pin 4761.41 by Fisher's Associate, dated October 19th, 2022. So
Second.
motion and a second. Again, this is to kick off the grant, multi-million-dollar grant we've got to add almost 17,000 feet of sidewalks. And Fisher's Associate worked with us on the Auburn Trail and did a great job. And so we've, with this approval here, they'll do the construction, layout, surveying, construction inspection once the work starts, and then finalize the product for the project. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. As a resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 playground units and rubber mulch by the Parks Department.
So moved. Second.
Again, one playground for Mertensia comes out of the 2022 budget. One playground for Farmbrook comes out of the 2023 budget. These Mountain Pass kit, recreation kit for the swing set and jumping jack and all that stuff was reviewed by our Town Recreation Advisory Board, and they had half a dozen models to look at, and they selected this unit. And so we're like $130,000. Plus install, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 11 is the abstract 20 of 2022 to pay the bills. General fund, $94,776.98. Highway fund, $24,843.50. Beaver Creek Park, $185.69. Town signs capital project, $365.40. 332.96 water line, $630,728.75. Sidewalk capital project, $120. Water tank repair, $5,084.02. Storm drainage, $2,329.15. Lighting district, $1,621.71. Sewer district, $234,039.44. Water district, $67,700.43. Payroll deductions, $6,814.47. For a total abstract, $1,068,609.54. The motion, please.
Second.
Motion is second. Any abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I had some training listed there. For some of our employees, different locations. Quick discussion, 1145 Cunningham Drive. Again, another person that missed paying. They've been a customer for like 3 years in Victor, so it's a sewer account. And they got the bill in October, but apparently they didn't get the one the quarter before, or they misplaced it. Same as we normally do.
Same as this.
Not waive the fee? All right, we'll make sure Jennifer touches base with them. No executive session tonight. Any exception for the waiver of the rule? Any objection? Hearing none. Number one is a resolution of sympathy for the Bellis family. All. And I'll read it. Whereas the town board is deeply saddened to learn of the untimely passing of Ruth Bellis on October 21st, 2022. And whereas Ruth's son Adrian has served as a member of both the zoning board of appeals and the planning board for over 10 years. Now therefore be resolved that the town board adopts this resolution extending its sincere sympathy to the Bellis family and spreading her memory upon the minutes of this board meeting. Be it further resolved, the town clerk forward a copy of this resolution to Ruth's family here in Farmington. All in favor? We did that. Adrian, we're very sorry. Waiver number 2, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement regarding the cooperation to comply with federal phase 2 stormwater regulation in Ontario and Wake counties.
Second.
Motion a second, more commonly referred to as MS4. And it's a 5-year contract, $5,000 a year for our town membership fee. And either Dan or John attends those meetings monthly, right?
Every other month.
Every other month. Okay, thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 is a resolution authorizing the highway park superintendent to purchase pipe from Lane Enterprise Inc. for a project on Rossler Road. At cost not to exceed $5,100.
So second.
Motion a second, and again, this is off the county bid book. And the highway superintendent's starting inspections in that part of the town, and we got a couple of bad ones. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That ends the basic part of the board meeting. Any other public concerns or questions? Hearing none, yeah, so a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mike second. Nate second, Mike first. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.